Hey guys, I'm coming to y'all from Disneyland today. We're over here at California Adventure and visiting Disneyland. And so a lot of people like to know about the DOS program that they have over here. It's the disability services that they have for individuals that have a hard time with whatever disability they have, whether it's standing in line or whatnot or whatever. And so some of the rules have changed. It used to be that, well, when I started at Disney, I'm a pass holder. So when I started, probably like a year and a half ago, it was 90 days for a DOS. You had to go to each representative and explain to them what is going on. Hold on. Each representative and explain to them what was going on. And you had to do that every time you needed to renew your DOS. It went from 90 days to 60 days and 30 days. And so now they have developed a new program here at Disneyland. It's nothing like if you're familiar with Universal Studios or Cedar Creek or Six Flags Magic Mountain. Hold on one second. Over here at Disneyland, now the new DOS system, they have this sign inside of the damn park. So once you scan your pass and you come into the park, you'll see this sign of which you have to go out of the park to the accessibility services right between Disneyland and Disney California Adventure in order for you to get your DOS pass now. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, The Coolest Chick. Listen, today I'm going to talk about the Disneyland DOS program. I briefly hit on it when I was at Disneyland, but I had a couple of things that I need to go over when I did myself actually visit the booth in order to have my son, who's autistic, to have him receive, to see if he was going to be approved for the DOS program. And so I thought I would share some things with you guys that I experienced when I went over there. And so the first thing that occurred is that we parked in the Mickey and Friends parking structure or the Cars parking structure. Either one, you know, the one where you have to take the tram into the front of the park. Well, we parked at that location, and what happened was once we decided to go into the park, that's when we found out that we needed to go over to the accessibility services booth, which was located right just between where Disneyland is and Disney California Adventure is. So it's the espionage location. That's what they're calling it. And so anyway, we had already checked into the park. And if you know, once you check into the park and you come out of the park, you have to wait at least 20 minutes to go back into the same park. And so that was, you know, a little bumper that we had when we first originally got there, because if I knew I needed to go over to the espionage booth, I never would have went into the park. But anyway, it you know, it ended up working itself out. When we got over to the espionage booth, it's actually over where you park in the Toy Story parking lot. So when you come through that parking lot, you'll see a sign telling you accessibility services located here at the espionage booth. And so yeah, we stood in line. It didn't take too long, although it was a couple of people over waiting in the line. And so they just escorted us up to the booth, which is similar to when you go and pay to get tickets into the theme park, or if you want annual passes or whatnot or whatever. It's the same type booth that you go up to. And we were greeted, you know, by one of the customer service representatives there at the Disneyland Resort. And so this is Disneyland in Anaheim, California. I wanted to point that out. So there were 5 questions that they asked me in order for me to receive, in order for them to, I guess, see if my son was going to be approved for the program. So I have my little handy notes here that I wrote down what the questions were. Now they may not be verbatim, but they were similar. They were what she asked me. I just put them kind of like in my own words. So the first one was, of course, why do we need the services? What do we need the services for. Why couldn't he stand in the line? What was his, disability or whatnot or whatever. Secondly, they wanted to know what prevented him from being able to stand in the line. So I had to go and explain to them the X, Y, and Z's of why he couldn't stand in the line. The third question was, how do I diffuse the situation, or if I had a calm down method, if he was in fact in a line at Disneyland, what would I do to calm him down in that situation? The fourth question was, in another setting outside of Disney, what would I do to help him, calm down? So by this time I'm thinking, what in the hell does it have to do with me receiving services here at Disneyland? But anyway, I answered that question. And the fifth question was, in the park, standing in line, what generally happens when he's standing in the line? And so I, was a little taken back on the questions, the 5 questions that was asked of me. It was kind of like a really, really detailed interviewing question, without me giving so much of his disability away. I had to really work around telling this stranger who wasn't, a physician or a psychologist or anything, just a cast member at Disneyland. I had to tell her, some pretty detailed information in order to receive the pass. So ultimately, he was approved for the pass. The pass is now for 120 days. So that really made me feel good, because every 30 days I did not want to have to go back and ask a cast member, tell them the reason, why I needed to have the DAS pass. And so, yeah, now it's 120 days. I think they can do a little better when it comes to the length of the pass, because we're pass holders. Clearly, we have the passes valid for a year. And so it would be beneficial, for at least pass holders. I'm not trying to discriminate against anyone else, but if you buy a day ticket, that we're just assuming that you're coming on that day. So as a pass holder, they figure that you're possibly coming several times within that year. And so I just don't think 120 days is really enough, but it is more time that they gave us than they did in the previous DAS programs. So like I said, well, I don't know if I said it in this video, because there are a couple of videos that I'm going to, kind of loop together here, put together here. And so I'm at home now, clearly. At first, the video I did record while I was actually standing in the line, waiting to speak to someone to try to get my pass approved or not approved or whatever. But yeah, so we're also pass holders at Universal Studios. I hate to speak about them on a Disney land video, but just in comparison to their disability program, you go through an outside agency online. It's the IBCESS. Please don't quote me on that. It's similar to that. It's an acronym. Anywho, you go on there and you apply for the program, and you answer a couple of questions. It's not really detailed. It's kind of like a yes/no questionnaire, and then they approve you from there. You speak with a Universal Studio cast member, or it's customer service, or whomever it is within their organization, and you just explain to them that you apply through their program. There is a confirmation number that you give them, and once they complete all that, they give you like a case number that is valid for a year, 365 days. And so when you go into the park, you don't have to say anything to anyone. You just go in and you get your pass. And so Disney, shout out to you guys implementing more days, but you really need to let people know where to go before you go into the park. And I think some of the questions, it's just a bit too much detail to be asked. 2 or 3 questions is probably enough to find out whether someone needs to have the services available. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on the DAS program here at the Disneyland Resort in Anaheim, California. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye.